Hello friends, I am Professor Rajendra Koranne from my YouTube channel Teach Easy. After a very long time, we are proceeding for the next video of Strength of Material and Mechanics of Structure. In this video, we will see stress-strain curves. Now, as far as mild steel is concerned, when it is used in RCC, basically it is used to resist the tensile stresses. Therefore, it is necessary to check its ultimate stress, yield stress, as well as the very important property ductility, and for that purpose we have to go for tension test. Okay, first we will see for mild steel, then we will see for cast iron, and then for torch steel bar, that is deformed bars. Now before we go for stress strain curve, let us see what is the specimen. As shown in figure A, the specimen whose diameter D is marked with a specific length over which the elongation is measured. This length is known as gauge length. How it is calculated? Gauge length is calculated as 5.65 times under root of cross-sectional area of the bar. Whatever may be the shape of the bar, if you calculate its area and put it in the formula, you will get the gauge, original gauge length. For round bars, it is nearly equal to 5 times diameter. If the nominal diameter of bar is 10 mm, gauge length will be 50 mm. If it is 12 mm, gauge length will be 60 mm. So the specimen is as shown in figure A. Now this specimen is inserted in universal testing machine in between the middle crosshead and the upper crosshead so that it will be subjected to tension. In the tension test on universal testing machine, the load which is applied on the specimen is gradually increasing load. Gradually means it increases step by step. Now as load increases, due to load there will be deformation. So due to load you can find out stress, due to deformation you can find out strain, and if we plot strain along x-axis and stress along y-axis, because stress is the dependent quantity, strain is independent quantity. Only because of strain is there will be stress, that we already know. Now, whatever will be the deformation at different loads, the deformation at different loads will produce different strains and corresponding stresses. If we plot it and by joining all the points, the diagram which we get is known as stress strain curve or stress strain diagram. This is a very important property of mild steel. So for mild steel and cast iron, we will see what is a stress strain diagram. Now imagine that the specimen is inserted in universal testing machine in between the middle crosshead and upper crosshead, and gradually load is increasing. As load increases, strain increases, stress also increases, and you will see that this is the stress strain curve. Now point number 1 is known as proportional limit. Point number 2 is known as elastic limit. Point number 3 is known as upper yield point. Point number 4 is known as lower yield point. Point number 5 is known as ultimate stress point. Point number 6 is known as nominal breaking stress point, And point number 7 is known as actual breaking stress point. Now let us see all these things one by one. From origin to point number 1, that is proportional limit, you will see that stress is directly proportional to strain and there is a straight line relationship. So this is a straight line. If you find out the slope of this straight line portion, you will get the modulus of elasticity of the material of the bar. The stress corresponding to this particular point is known as limit of proportionality. What is proportional limit? It is the point up to which the stress is directly proportional to the strain. Very close to it is the second point, that is elastic limit. Theoretically speaking, we show it. Practically speaking, we very rarely get this point. Now, what is the speciality of this point? After point number 1, this straight line relationship is a bit disturbed, but up to point number 2, that is elastic limit, the material of the specimen behaves as a perfectly elastic material. That means if you remove the load, it will bump back, bounce back, come back to its original shape and size. So this is elastic limit. Now after point number 2, you will see that the curve deviates from straight line. And you will find that there is point number 3, which is known as upper yield point. This is the point where process of yielding starts. What do you mean by process of yielding? The material of the bar starts flowing. So you will find that there is considerable increase in the strain without any considerable increase in the stress. Okay? The stress at this point number 3 is upper yield stress. This is upper yield point and this is lower yield point. The point at which yielding starts is generally upper yield point. The point at which yielding stops is known as lower yield point. To all these corresponding points, if you project here, you will get the corresponding stresses. Now see, we are applying the load which is gradually increasing. In this region, you will see that there is no considerable increase in the load. Okay? After this point number 4, due to strain hardening, the material again starts taking load. Load increases, strain increases, stress increases, and up to point number 5. Point number 5 is the point at which it carries the maximum load, ultimate load. So the stress corresponding to point number 5 is known as ultimate stress. Okay? Now, if the load further increases, what happens? See, once ultimate load is reached, you will find that, as shown in figure B, you will find that in between two gauge point, you will see that the stress is concentrated, which reduces the cross section. So this figure corresponding to vest formation or neck formation. So as the diameter decreases, cross sectional area decreases. For further elongation, the bar requires less load. So load starts decreasing, therefore load divided by area, it also starts decreasing, and finally it breaks at point number 6. So point number 6 is nominal breaking stress point. Why it is said nominal breaking stress point? Because this breaking stress is calculated on the basis of original cross sectional area. Actually, due to vest formation, area has reduced, but it is not possible to measure this diameter during the test. Okay? Therefore, this is calculated on the basis of original cross sectional area, which is known as nominal breaking stress. Okay? So, For further increase, you will find that this will go on increasing, and finally at a particular load it breaks in the form of cup and cone formation as shown in figure C. This is known as cup, this is known as cone. So every ductile material, its failure will be in the form of cup and cone formation. Okay, so this load at which it breaks divided by original cross sectional area will be nominal breaking stress, and load divided by reduced cross sectional area. If you measure the diameter, if you rejoin them temporarily and measure the diameter has reduced a lot. So though the load reduces, as diameter also reduces, you will get this point number 7 as actual breaking stress point. Okay, so this is the stress strain curve for mild steel. Now how many stresses we are calculating? Yield stress is equal to load at yield point divided by original cross sectional area. Ultimate stress, maximum load divided by original cross sectional area. Nominal breaking stress is breaking load divided by original cross sectional area. Actual breaking stress is breaking load divided by reduced cross sectional area. Okay, so these are the important points. Once again I will say proportional limit, elastic limit, upward yield point, lower yield point, ultimate stress point, actual breaking stress point, nominal breaking stress point, and actual breaking stress point. Okay, so this is the stress strain curve for mild steel. Now for cast iron is not ductile, it is a brittle material. So what happens? The brittle material will fail at very lower loads without showing any sign of deformation. So this failure of cast iron will be sudden and it will be occur at a very lower load, it will fail. So this particular diagram, this is stress strain curve for mild steel, this is stress strain curve for cast iron. Okay. Now whenever we use the bars as a reinforcing bars in RCC, generally we use Torsteel bars or deformed bars. Now it is only mild steel which shows so many points. It is very difficult to get specific yield point. In case of deformed bars, it is not observed. So for deformed bars, if you again take the deformed bar and its area will be calculated on the basis of weight basis, and then gauge length is marked on the specimen because it is not mild steel. Now for Torsteel, if you place that in universal testing machine as usual, and if you apply the gradually increasing load, you will find that the curve will be almost a continuous curve starting from the beginning. It's a continuous curve. So for such deformed bars where a distinct yield point cannot be observed, offset method is used. Now what is offset method? Okay, for this curve, from the initial point a tangent is drawn. This is initial tangent to the curve, and for a specific amount of strain, that is 0.2%, that is 0.002, from this a line is drawn parallel to initial tangent. Wherever this line intersects the curve, if you project it on y-axis, the corresponding point is known as yield stress, or it is known as proof stress. What is proof stress? A stress corresponding to a specified amount of strain is known as proof strain. Okay, so this is a proof stress is calculated like this, and then 0.5 and 0.6 are as usual, that is, this is ultimate load point and this is breaking point. Again you can draw this dotted for actual. So do you understand this? For deformed bars, what is done? This particular method is known as offset method. Initial tangent is drawn, offset is drawn at 0.002, and that is known as the stress corresponding to this point is known as yield stress or proof stress. Proof stress is a specific amount of stress corresponding to a specified amount of strain. Do you understand? So in this video, we saw stress strain curve for mild steel, stress strain curve for cast iron, and how to draw stress strain curve for deformed bars using offset method. Okay? So here we will stop. In the next video, we will see what is working stress, what is safe stress, what is factor of safety. Thank you.